So hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we're gonna read the most selling book of India, The Three Mistakes of My Life by Chetan Bhagat. 1. India versus South Africa, 4th ODI, Vadora, 17 March 2000, over 45. Why the fuck did you have to move? Ishan's scream drowned out the stadium din on the TV. I had shifted up to a sofa from the floor. Ah, I said. We were in Ishan's house. Ishan, Omi, and I. Ishan's mom had bought in tea and khagra for us. It is more comfortable to snack on the sofa. That is why I moved. Tendulkar's gone. Fuck! Now at this stage, Omi, don't you dare move now. Nobody's moved for the next 5 hours. I looked at the TV. We were chasing 283 to win. India's score a ball ago was 256 on 2. After 45 overs, 27 runs in 5 overs with 8 wickets to spare and Tendulkar on the crease. A cakewalk. The odds were still in India's favor, but Tendulkar was out, and that explained the frowns on Ishan's forehead. The khakras crispy, Omi said. Ishan glared at Omi, chiding him for his shallow sensory pleasure in a moment of national grief. Omi and I kept our tea cups aside and looked suitably mournful. The crowd clapped as Tendulkar made his exit. Jadeja came to the crease and added 6 more runs. End of 46 overs. India 262 on 3. 21 more runs into win in 4 overs. With 7 wickets in hand. Over 46. He made 122. The guy did his job. Just a few final closing shots left. Why are you getting so worked up? I asked during a commercial break. I reached for my teacup, but Ishan signaled me to leave it alone. We were not going to indulge until the fate of the match was decided. Ishan was pleased with us anyway. The match was in Vadodara, just 2 hours away from Ahmedabad. But we could not go. 1, because we didn't have money, and 2, because I had my correspondence exam in 2 days. Of course, I had wasted the whole day watching the match on TV instead. So reason number 2 did not really hold much weight. It is 5.25 runs required per over. I said, not able to resist doing a mathematical calculation. This is the one reason I like cricket. There is so much maths in it. You don't know this team. Tendulkar goes, they panic. It isn't about the average. It is like the queen bee is dead and the hive loses order, Ishan said. Omi nodded as he normally goes to whatever Ishan has to say about cricket. Anyway, I hope you realize we didn't meet today to see this match. We have to decide what Mr. Ishan is doing about his future, right? I said. Ishan had always avoided this topic ever since. He ran away from NDA a year ago. His dad has already sarcastically commented, cut a cake today to celebrate 1 year of your uselessness. However, today I had a plan. I needed to sit them down to talk about our lives. Of course, against cricket, life is second priority. Later, Ishan said, staring avidly at a pimple cream commercial. Later, when Ishan, I have an idea that works for all of us. We don't have a lot of choice to be. All of us? Me too? Omi quizzed. Already excited, idiots like him love to be a part of something, anything. However, this time we needed Omi. Yes, you play a critical role, Omi. But later, when? Oh, stop it. Look, the march is starting. Okay, over dinner. Let's go to Gopi. He said. Gopi, who's playing? I was interrupted as the match began. Beep, beep, beep. The horn of a car broke our conversation. A car zoomed outside the pole. What the hell? I'm going to teach this bastard a lesson, Ish said, looking out the window. What's up, bloody son of a bitch? Dad comes and circles around our house every day. Why? I said. For Vidya. He used to be in a coaching classes with her. He complained about him there too, he said. Beep, beep, beep. The car came near the house again. Damn, I don't want to miss this match, Ish said as he saw India hit a four. Ish picked up his bat. We ran out the house. The silver steam circled the pole and came back for another round of landing. Ish stood in front of the car and asked the boy to stop. The steam halted in front of Ish. Ish went to the driver and adolescent. Excuse me, your headlight is hanging out. Really? The boy said and shut off the ignition. He stepped outside and came to the front. Ish grabbed the boy's head from behind and he smashed his face into the bonnet. He proceeded to strike the headlight with his bat. The glass broke and the bulb hung out. What's your problem? The boy said, blood spurting out of his nose. You tell me what's up. You like pressing horns, Ish said. Ish grabbed his collar and gave 6 non-stop slaps across his face. Omi picked up the bat and smashed the windscreen. The glass broke into a million pieces. People on the street gathered around as there is nothing quite as entertaining as a fight. The boy shivered in pain and fear. What would he tell his daddy about his broken car and face? Ish heard the commotion and came out of the house. Ish held the boy in an elbow lock. The boy was struggling to breathe. Leave him, Ish dad said. Ish gripped him tighter. I said leave him, Ish's dad shouted. What's going on here? He has been troubling Vidya since last week, Ish said. He kicked the boy's face with his knee and released him. The boy kneeled on the floor and sucked in air. The last kick from Ish and smeared the blood from his nose across his face. And what do you think you are doing? Ish's dad asked him. Teach him a lesson, Ish said, and unhooked his bat, stuck in the windscreen. Really? When will you learn your lesson? Ish said to him. Ish turned away. You go now, Ish's dad said to the beeping driver, who folded his hands, seeing that no one cared about his apology. He trudged back into his car. Ish's dad turned to his neighbor. For 1 whole year, he's been sitting at home, ran away from the army of his own country, and then wants to teach lesson to others. He and his loafer friends hanging around the house all day along. One sidelong glance at his dad and Ish walked back home. Where the hell are you going now? Ish's dad said. Match? Why? You want to curse me some more? Ish's dad said. When you have wasted your entire life. What's another day? Ish's father said, and the neighbors half nodded their heads in sympathy. We missed the final 5 hours of the match. Luckily, India won, and Ish didn't get that upset. Yes, 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 Ishan jumped. Copy on me tonight. I love idiots. Actually, Ishan is not an idiot. At least, not as much as Omi. It is just that both of them suck at studies, especially maths. And I am good at it. Hence, I have this chip on my shoulder. It does sound a bit conceited, but it is the only chip on my shoulder. For instance, I am easily the poorest of the 3, though I will be the richest one day. Even though Ishan and Omi aren't particularly wealthy, Ishan's dad works in the telephone exchange, and while they have lots of phones in the house, the salary is modest. Omi's dad is the priest of the Swami Bhakti temple, which actually belonged to Omi's mom family's 4 generations. and that does not pay well either. But still, they are a lot better off than me and my mom. My mom runs a small Gujarati snacks business, and the little bit of money I make from tuition help us get by. But that's about it. We won. We won the series 3-1. Omi repeated what he read on the TV screen. Of course, it would have been too much for him to express such original insight. Some say Omi was born stupid, while some say he became stupid after a cock ball hit him on the head in class 6th. I didn't know the reason, but I did know that maybe the best idea for him would to become a priest. He wouldn't have much of a career otherwise. Given that he barely scraped through class 12th after repeating the maths compartment exam twice, but he didn't want to be a priest. So my plan was the best one. I ate the khakra. My mother made it better than Ishan's mom. We were professionals after all. I'll go home to change and then we will go to Gopi. Okay, I said as Ishan and Omi were still dancing. Dancing after an Indian victory was a ritual we had started when we were 11. One that should have stopped by 13. However, here we were at 21, thinking like juveniles. Okay, so we won. Someone had to. In mathematical terms, there was a pretty good probability. Did it really need it jumping around? I walked at the back home. The narrow lanes of the old city were bustling with the evening crowd. My house and Ishan's were only half a kilometer apart. Everything in my world fell between the distance. I passed by the Nana Park, extra packed with kids playing cricket as India had won the match. I played here almost every day of my school life. We still come here sometimes, but now we prefer the abandoned bank branch compound near my home. A tennis ball landed at my feet. A sweaty 12-year-old boy came running to me. I picked up the ball for him. Nana Park is where I had first met Ishan and Nomi over 15 years ago. There was no dramatic moment that marked the start of our friendship. Maybe we sized each other up as the only 6-year-old in the ground and started playing together. Like most neighborhood kids, we went to the Belrampur Municipal School, 100 meters down Nana Park. Of course, only I studied why Ish and Omi ran to the park at every opportunity. 3 bicycles tried to overtake each other in the narrow by lane. I had to step inside Kazi restaurant to let them pass. A scent of fried corridor and garlic filled the narrow room. The cook prepared dinner, a bigger feast than usual as India had won the match. Ishan and I came here sometime without telling Omi, of course, for the cheap food and extraordinary but mutton. The owner assured us small mutton, implying goat and not beef. I believe him, as he would not have survived in the neighborhood if he served beef. I wanted to eat here instead of gopi, but we had promised gopi to Omi, and the food was fantastic here as well. Food is a passion here, especially as Gujarati is a dry state. People here get drunk on food. Yes, Ahmedabad is my city. It is strange, but if you haven't happy times in a city for a long time, you consider it the best city in the world. I feel the same about Ahmedabad. I know it is not one of those hip cities like Delhi, Bombay, or Bangalore. I know people in these cities think of Ahmedabad as a small town, though that is not really the case. Ahmedabad is the sixth largest city in India with a population of over 5 million. But I guess if you have to emphasize the importance of something, then it isn't as important in the first place. I could tell you that Ahmedabad has better multiplexes than Delhi or nicer roads than Bombay or better restaurant than Bangalore. But you will not believe me. Or even if you do, you won't give a damn. I know Rampur is not Bandra, but why should I defend being called a small town person as if it is a bad thing? A funny thing about small towns is the people say it is the real India. I guess they do acknowledge that at one level that India of the big cities is fake. Yes, I am from the old city of Ahmedabad and proud of it. We don't have as many fashion shows and we still like our women to wear clothes. I don't see anything wrong with that. I stepped out of Kazi and continued my way home, turning in the pole towards Omi's temple. Of course, we call it Omi's temple because he lived there, but the official name was the Swami Bhakti temple. As I entered the by lane, two people fought over garbage disposal around the temple. There are things about my small town neighborhood that I want to change. In some ways, it is way behind the rest of Ahmedabad. For one, the whole old city could be a lot cleaner. The new city across the other side of the Sabarmati River has gleaming glass and steel buildings, while the old cities find it difficult to get rubbish cleared on time. I want to change another thing. I want to shop the gossip theories people come up with about other people, like the theory about Omi becoming stupid because a cricket ball hit him. There is no basis for it, but every poll in Bilrampur talks about it. Or the theory that Ish was thrown out of NDA and did not run away. I know for a fact that it is not a true. Ish cannot handle unquestioned authority, and even though he was really excited about the army, which was his only option, he could not stand some major ordering him and around for the next 2 decades of his life. So he paid for the penalty. It cited personal reason like ailing parents or something and ran right back to Belrampur. And of course, what I want to stop the most, the weirdest theory that I became emotionless the day Dad left us. Dad left Mom and me over 10 years ago, for we found out he had a second wife across town. As far as I can remember, I was never good with emotional stuff. I love maths, I love logic, and those subjects have no place for emotion. I think human beings waste too much time on emotions. The prime example is my mother. Dad's departure was followed by months of crying, with every lady in every poll coming down to sympathize with her. She spent another year consulting astrologers as to which planet caused Dad to move out and when would that position change. Thereafter, a string of grandants came to live with her as she could not bring herself to stay alone. It wasn't until I turned 15 and understood how the world worked that I could coax her on into opening the snacks business. Of course, my coaxing was part of it. The rest of it was that all her jewelry was officially sold by then. Her snacks were great, but she was no businessman. Emotional people make terrible businessmen. She would sell on credit and buy on cash. The first mistake a small business can make. Next, she would keep on no accounts. The home spending money was often mixed with the business money, and we frequently had months where the choice was to buy either rice for our consumption or black pepper for the papads. Meanwhile, I studied as much as I could. Our school was not Oxford, and emphasis on studies was low, with more teachers bunking classes than students. Still, I topped maths every single year. People thought I was gifted when I hit 100 in maths in class 10th. For me, it was no big deal. For once, the gossip vine helped. The news of my score spread across the polls, and we had a new source of income: tuitions. I was the only maths tutor in Belrampur, and bad maths score had reached epidemic proportion. Along with Haman and Khakra, Trigonometry and algebra became sources of income in the Patel household. Of course, it was a poor neighborhood, so people could not pay much. Still, another $1,000 a month was a lifestyle changing event for us. From fan, we graduate to cooler. From chairs, we went to second half sofa. Life became good. I reached Omi's temple. The loud rhythmic chime of the bell interrupted my thoughts. I checked my watch. It was 6 p.m. The daily aarti time. I saw Omi's dad from a distance, his eyes closed as he chanted the months. Even though I was an agnostic, there was something amazing about his face. It had genuine feeling for the God he prayed to. No wonder he was among the most liked people in the community. Omi's mother was beside him, her maroon sari draped along her head and hands folded. Next to her was Bittu Mama, Omi's maternal uncle. He was dressed in a white dhoti and saffron scarf. His huge biceps seemed even larger with his folded hands. His eyes too were transfixed in genuine admiration for the idols of Krishna and Radha. Omi would get into trouble for reaching the Aarti late. It would not be the first time though, as matches in Nana Park there at a crucial stage around 6 p.m. How was the match? Mom said. As I reached home, she stood outside the house. She had just finished loading a hired auto with fresh dhokla for a marriage party. Finally, my mother could delegate routine tasks like delivery and focus on her core competence, cooking. She took out a dhokla piece from the auto for me. Bad business, knocking out something from a customer order. Great match, nail biting finish. We won, I said, walking in. I switched on the tube light inside. The homes in our pole required light even during daytime. If I have a good Diwali season, I will get you a color TV, Mom vowed. No need, I said. I removed my shoes to get it ready for a shower. You need a bigger grinder urgently. The small one is all wobbly. I will buy the TV if only the business makes extra money, she said. No, if you make extra money, put it back in the business. Don't buy useless things. I can always see the match in color in Ishan's house. He left the room. My mother knew it was futile arguing with me. Without dad around it was amazing how much say I had in the house, and I only hoped Ish and Omi would listen to my proposition as well. My love for business began when I first started tuition. It was amazing to see money build up. With money came not only things like coolers and sofa, but also the most important stuff, respect. Shopkeepers no longer avoided us, relatives invited us to weddings, and our landlord visit did not throw us into turmoil. And then there was the thrill. I was making much money, not earning it under some boss or getting a handout. I could decide my fate, how many students to teach, how many hours per class. It was my decision. There's something about Gujaratis. We love business, and Ahmedabadis love it. More than anything else, Gujarat is the only state in India where people tend to respect you more if you have a business than if you are in service. The rest of the country dreams about a cushy job that gives a steady salary and provides stability. In Ahmedabad, services is for the weak. That was why I dreamt my biggest dream, to be a big businessman one day. The only hitch was my of lack of capital, but I would build it slowly and make my dream come true. Sure, Ish could not make his dream of being in the Indian cricket team real, but that was a stupid dream to begin with. To be in the top 11 of a country of a billion people was in many ways an impossible dream. And even though Ish was top class in Belrampur, he was no Tendulkar. My dream was more realistic. I would start slow and then grow my business from a turnover of thousands to lakhs to crores and then to hundreds of crores. I came out of the shower and dashed again. Want to eat anything? My mother voiced her most quoted line from the kitchen. No, I am going out with Ish and Omi to Gopi. Gopi, why I make the same things? What do you do get at Gopi that I can't give you at home? Peace and quiet, I wanted to say. It's Ish did, and I want to talk to them about my new business. So you are not repeating this engineering entrance exam? My mother came out of the kitchen. She raised the covered hands. You can take a year to prepare. Stop taking tuitions for a while. We have money now. My mother felt guilty about a million things. One of them was me not making it to a good engineering college. Tuition and supporting my mom's business meant I could study less for the entrance exam. I didn't make it to IIT or any of the top institute. I did make it to a fair flunk college in Kutch, but it wasn't worth it to leave my tuition's income, friends, cricket at Nana Park, and mom for that. Not that I felt any emotion. It just did not seem like the right trade. I could do maths honors right there in Ahmedabad University, continue tuition and think about business. The Kutch college did not even guarantee a job. I don't want to be an engineer, mom. My heart is in business. Plus, I have already done 2 years of college, one more, and I will be a graduate. Yes, but who gives a job to a maths graduate? It was true. Maths honors was a stupid course to take from an economic point of view. It is okay. I needed a degree and I can get it without studying much. I said, I am a businessman. Mom, I can't change that. My mother pulled my cheeks, chunks of duff stuck to my face. Be whatever. You are always my son first. She hugged me. I hated it. I hate a display of emotion more than emotion itself. I better go. That is your 10th chapati, Ish told Omi. Ninth, who dares? It is buffet. Can you pass the ghee, please? All that food, it has to be a bad for you, Ish said. 200 push-ups, Omi said. 10 rounds of Nana Park, 1 hour at Bittu's Mama home gym. You do this, everybody like me, and you can hog without worry. People like Omi are no profit customers. There is no way Gopi could make money off him. Amras and Rasmalai. Thanks, Omi said to the waiter. Ish and I nodded for the same. So what's up? I'm listening, Ish said he as he scooped up the last spoon of amras. Eat your first food first. We will talk over tea, I said. People argued less on a full stomach. I am not paying for tea. My treat is limited to a thali, Ishan protested. I'll pay for the tea, I said. Relax, man. I was only joking. Mr. Accounts can't even take a joke, right, Omi? Omi laughed. Whatever, guys, you really need to listen today and stop calling me Mr. Accounts. I ordered tea while the waiter cleared our plates. I am serious, Ish. What do you plan to do with your life? We are not kids anymore, I said. Unfortunately, he said and sighed. Okay then, I will apply for jobs. Maybe do an IIT computer course first. Or should I take an insurance job? What do you think? I saw his face. He tried to smile, but I saw the pain. The champion batsman of Belrampur would become an insurance salesman. Belrampur kids had grown up applauding his bounties at Nana Park. But now, when he had no life ahead, he wanted to ensure others people's life. Omi looked at me, hoping I had come up with a great option for Santa's goodie bag. I was sick of parenting. I want to start a business, I began. Not again, he said. I can't do that, man. What was it the last time? A fruit dealership? Ah, I can't be paying watermelons all day. And the crazy one after that, Omi. Car accessories, he said. There is a big money in that, Omi said as he slapped desert. What? Put seat covers all day? No thanks. The other one is stockbroker. What is the anyway? Is stuck. So what the fuck do you want to do? Beg people to buy insurance or sell credit cards at street corner. You is our military school dropout, I said and pushed for breath. And you got a compartment in class 12 twice. You can be a priest, Omi, but what about us? I don't want to be a priest, Omi said listlessly. And why do you people oppose me even before I start? This time I have something that will interest you. What? He said. Cricket, I said. What? Both of them said in unison. There you go. Nice to get your attention. Now can I talk? Sure, Ish waved a hand. We are going to open a cricket shop, I said. I deliberately left for the restroom. But how? Omi interrogated when I returned. What is a cricket shop? A sports store really. But since cricket is the most popular game in Balrampur, we will focus on that. His silence meant he was listening to me. It will be a small retail stall. Money for a shop deposit is a problem, so I need Omi's help. Fine, Omi said. Yes, we will open the shop right inside the Swami temple complex next to the art and puja shops. I noticed an empty shop there, and it is a part of the temple land. A cricket shop in a temple complex is questioned. Wait, Omi, do you think you can arrange that? Without that, our plan is a non-starter. You mean the Kuber sweet shop that just closed the temple? The test will rent it out soon and normally pay that it out to something related to temple activities for me. I know, but you have to convince your dad. After all, he runs the temple. He does, but Mama looks after the. Will we pay rent? Yes, I sighed, but not immediately. We need a 2 month waiver and we cannot pay the deposit. I'll have to go through mom, Omi said. Good, his mind was working. Sorry to ask again, but a cricket shop in temple complex who will buy? 70-year-old aunties who come for kirtan will want willow bats. Is stopped. The waiter had cleared our tea, presented the bill. By Gopi protocol, we had to be out of the restaurant in 2 minutes. Good question. A cricket shop by a temple does sound. But thing, is there any more shop in Bilrampur? Not really. You don't even get leather balls. Ellis Bridge is the nearest. Is shared. See, that's number one. Number two, the temple is a family place. Kids up among the most bored people in temples. Where are they going to hang out? It is true, Omi said. That is why so many balloons wallas hover outside. That is where is coming. People know you were a good player and you can give playing tips to every kid who comes to buy from us. Slowly our reputation will build. But what about Christians or Muslim kids? They won't come, right? He said. Not at first, but the shop is outside the temple as word is spread. They will come. What choice do they have anyways? Where will we get what we sell? Is said. There's a sport equipment supplier in Vastrapur who will give us months credit if we have the space. We have a good to go without cash. But what if it doesn't run? This asks with skepticism. Worst case, we sell the stock at a loss and I'll cover the rest through my tuition savings. But it will work, man. If you put your heart into it, it will. Both of them remained silent. Guys, please, I need you for this. I really want to run a business. I can't do it without partners. It's cricket. I appeal to. I mean, Homie smile. I don't have to be a priest and I get to, but I won't handle money. I'll focus on the cricket. He said. I smiled. Yes, he was proud. Of course, you think I will let you handle cash. So, are we partners? I stretch out my hand. Omi high-fived me and Ish joined me. What are we going to call it? Omi said it in the auto. Asked Ish. I said if Ish named it, he would feel more connected to the project. How about Team India Cricket Shop? Ish suggested great name. I said, watch Ish smile on the first time that evening. 2 rupees 50 paise each, guys. I said as the auto stopped near my hole in Belrampur. Here you go, Mr. Accountant. Ish said and passed his chair.